So that's
Farted
a thing.
right there.
I think you fucking silent farted. Hello everyone and welcome to Sorta My Podcast. My name is Vincent Herman, Vin the Human, sitting to my left.
James Odle, Alpha Spectre.
And introducing as a new regular character on the podcast,
Travis Sermon, Dr. T. Neal.
Unfortunately, Bobb-A Fett won't be joining us anymore. The schedule just doesn't work out for him. He's been working a lot of weekends lately, and they've just been killing him. So
He does plan on coming back.
He's always got a spot here. Like, even if he just pops in, he's like, I can only do this one. Like, he's welcome to come in and do this with us. He's a founding member, so he's always got a spot on the podcast. But we'll not waste any time because there was so much news, so much Comic-Con news came out. D23 had a bunch of drops too.
Well, and then we're getting like hourly updates.
Like all weekend and all week was like D23 news, and then like up to like the moment before we started recording this, we were like getting more stuff. So I've made a lot of adjustments to the show. The first of which is our original topic has been scrapped for Justice League trailer. That dropped like just a couple hours ago. And it's cool. Like, I still have zero faith in this film actually being a well-constructed story or film, but it should be good.
I think it's going to be fun.
Visuals.
I think it's going to be enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
It may be cringeworthy, and we'll be like, this doesn't make any sense.
Oh,
that was
like,
really cool to see.
It'll be like BBS, where like for weeks after I'm breaking down all these things, I'm like, this is another reason I hate it. So
I can't wait to see a bunch of those basically new characters coming into play, really.
Yeah, like Cyborg.
Cyborg is one I'm stoked for.
There's that moment where he's like plugging into Bat's claw, whatever.
It's the Bat Crawler.
Bat Crawler, that's right. And he's like, Alfred, I got this. And he just takes the damn thing over. And it's great. And then we also finally got to see Steppenwolf. Not just Steppenwolf, but Steppenwolf in action.
Like, that was cool.
Yeah.
Like, the part, he takes his axe, swings it into the ground, and just, like, cracks the ground and breaks lava. Like, that was so fucking cool.
Very God of War type thing.
Yeah.
We got some hardcore Flash visuals in this thing. Yeah, that was really cool.
You know, I feel like this is a very, like, young Flash Barry Allen.
Oh, yeah.
Like he has not been the Flash for very long.
I think
he's novice, for sure. He says he's only pushed things, but hasn't actually done battle yet.
Well, I think he's, they outright say kid in BBS, and then just from the first Justice League trailer that we got, it's pretty obvious that he's a youngster here. But we also got to see some of the teamwork. Like, there's that, like, I think the most obvious. Well, I think the most obvious example of that was the moment where Diana's fighting Steppenwolf and the Flash is running up that wall and she loses her sword.
He just like pokes it back
to her.
Hopefully, the teamwork going together will be a little better than Batman vs Superman, where Batman's way off in the distance for most of the fight.
Yeah, right.
And then finally, I like the way it comes together.
It's mostly just
he could have been in there more.
Superman, Wonder Woman throwing fists.
Well,
that's the bulk.
Like, you think about it.
Really,
Batman trying to go toe to toe with Doomsday, there'd be no more Bruce Wayne. So,
but it was the worst way to do Doomsday.
He hid behind a rock.
He had.
I'm hoping. But also with this news, we got more DCU news where they released a bunch of new titles that are coming out. You know, Suicide Squad 2, the Batman, but among these, they finally announced the official title for The Flash, and that is Flashpoint.
Now, in BVS, we saw Thomas and Martha Wayne.
Yeah.
And, like, when we all saw those actors, Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Maggie from The Walking Dead, Lauren Cohan or something?
Laura Cohen, that's right, yeah.
You know, we all made the same comment. Be like, God, if they did a Flashpoint, they would be perfect.
Well, now, it's arguable that, I mean, just those names being who they are, you know, that's a big get for just a small time.
I thought it was weird Jeffrey Dean Morgan's only in it for like a smidgen of the movie. I was like, wait, you know.
They had a plan.
It's arguable that Flashpoint has been on the table, the writing room table, from the beginning, but at the same time, it's just, I know it hasn't started filming yet, and they finished Aquaman. They said that filming has begun on something else. I can't remember what.
The Batman's still having a rough time.
That's out there. And they're saying that they're eyeing Shazam for the next one that they get started on. That'd so cool. Maybe it's a few movies out, but it's not the right movies out.
Well,
my argument here is that establish a universe before you rewrite it.
Well,
I shake it up.
Ever since like BVS and with all the flack they've been getting from everything and everything going on, like they know that they're fucking up, and I don't think they're taking the steps to fix it. They're just going to go with the fucked up path they laid out, and then they're just going to reset it with Flashpoint.
I think they're taking steps to fix it. They're just taking the wrong steps in classic DC Warner Brothers
I would have
fashion.
liked to see a lot of the solo movies before we got to even Batman vs. Superman.
But,
I think they had to catch up with Marvel, really.
Suicide Squad was one of the main... they took the Marvel way somewhat in the idea that, now Marvel's at this point where they don't really feel like they have to do these, big, grandiose lead-ins because people know.
Yeah.
And
Homecoming's the perfect example.
They're basically, from the get-go, was like, we don't need any more origin stories. Let's just say this universe has been here for, 30 years.
But see, here's my thing. Even in the Justice League trailer, Steppenwolf makes the comment, there's no lanterns.
Yeah.
So if this DCEU universe has been here for so long, there should be a fucking lantern protecting Earth.
And it's arguable what could have happened there.
But Flashpoint could bring us what we want.
It could, but it's too soon for something like that. And I was right about Suicide Squad, wasn't I?
Yeah.
It was way too soon for a fucking Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah.
Even if they're 2020, it's too soon. It's too fucking soon. We need a universe.
I'm about to read Flashpoint, but also hearing all the points about the story in general, I think it's probably going to be an awesome movie.
It'll be a cool
one. From what I hear about the story.
If they do it right, of course.
But also, the fact that The Flash hasn't had his first movie, so his first movie is going to be Flashpoint. We're just going to assume you guys know everything about The Flash, and we're just going to fuck it up.
Now, I did think about this a little bit, and because of something I'm going to talk about here in a little bit with comics that we're doing, there is a possibility that in this movie, it could introduce Reverse Flash. And Reverse Flash could come back, and we see him in the background a little bit, and he sees Barry interacting with someone, and he's like, well, fuck that guy. And we're not really sure what, fuck that guy, why? And then he kills Barry's mom. But that means that they're going to have to condense the entirety of the Reverse Flash's thing to the first half hour of the film. And that's terrible because that should be the first movie.
Yeah.
That should be Reverse Flash, why not? Or the Rogues or something. But they're nope, let's let Flash be the enemy. You need Reverse Flash for Flashpoint too. Yeah. So that's why I'm so certain that they're going to probably go that route. But that just means that this really great sprawling story is going to be a footnote to fix their mistakes, and that's bullshit.
Putting a big story like this that's so far into a character's history, that's this is decades into the Flash's story.
There's a death of the Flash before that, where he gets lost in the Speed Force. Show us him lost in the fucking Speed Force before you do this.
There's so much more you could do before pushing the big fat reset button.
Right.
But, it worked for the show. Why not do it for the movies?
I think we're just going to have to sit and grin and bear that. Wonder Woman was a ray of hope, it being so damn good.
Yeah.
But I think we're just going to have to sit and bear this whole DC universe until they're finally done trying. They reset the slate. We get another fucking Batman movie.
Now.
Because they'll be like, we fucked. I know where we fucked up. We did a Superman movie first. No, you fucked up a lot the whole time.
Superman was great. I liked Superman.
I liked it, yeah.
Now, here's my question for you guys.
It's got problems, but...
Say they do Flashpoint, and it does this big reset button, and they merge the Berlanti-verse with the movie universe, and bring it all together. What would you guys say to something like that happening?
I mean, that'd be cool. It'd be a little weird, but... if they actually took steps to start writing decent movies after that, that'd be fine. But then it like negates what we have gotten that's good. It resets the Wonder Woman, and they're like, oh, we gotta redo the Wonder Woman movie. No, you don't. Stop, please.
Well,
it's just it's a way they could fix it, but it's a way that they could fuck it up more beyond repair. So
we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah. Coming out of bad comic book movie news, let's go into good comic book stories.
Okay.
Trav, since you are our junior executive here, you're coming in for the first time on this, would you prefer us go first and then you do yours, or are you confident in what you got to where you can start us out?
I'll let you guys go first and look over these notes for a minute.
Well, all right, then. My books are a number 1 and a number 25 here. I've got Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man, number 1. This book is written by Chip Zdarsky. Is it Darsky? Silent.
I think it's Zdarsky, but the Z might be silent.
Who knows?
He's on Sex Criminals.
It's very hard to say his last name, but the artist is Adam Kubert, who is great. Just always a good time when you got him involved. And doing the colors, and I usually don't mention the color artist, but Jordi Belair, she does a great job coloring this thing. She brings out these like bright tones and sunbathed like heroes, the way we want a Spider-Man book like this to be. Pretty much the best thing I can say about this book is that it doesn't ignore its billionaire status, but it also it goes and tries to ground Peter Parker like the way he used to be before the billions. It brings us back to him fighting ordinary criminals and dealing with like a fledgling like shitty love life and stuff like that. Even so, in the beginning, it starts to do his origin story, but it's quickly cut off, kind of meta, by Johnny Storm saying, "Why are you telling me all this? You know, like I've heard this so many times." And they're just sitting on a ledge having lunch, and Peter's lamenting about how like he misses this. Like he's always globetrotting, and like, you know, it's this big event or that big event. He's just happy he can sit here and have lunch with the Human Torch. It even ends with like this really awkward hug in this panel here. But yeah, and then they make plans to watch a movie later. And then this book goes on to introduce Hafani. I think that's how you say his name, Hafani Mason. Although he's a brand new character, he's the Tinkerer's brother, and apparently he's been doing tech work for all these heroes, and Peter's never heard of him. Like, apparently all the heroes have heard of him, and none of them have ever told Spider-Man about it. He finds out from Ant-Man, who's in the area while he's stopping these crooks from robbing this chick. Ant-Man comes back to, like, big size, but he only comes so far. He's basically like a halfling. And that's how Spider-Man finds out. He's like, "What's up?" He's like, "My helmet's screwed up. I'm going to go have Mason take care of it." He's like, "Who's Mason?" So they go in and meet him, and that's how we find out he's Tinkerer's brother and stuff. This is also a really great contrast to ASM, Amazing Spider-Man, where the focus in those books, like I say, he's always globetrotting. It's a world-spanning big events.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, high drama, really, like big drama in that one.
It's a pretty high-strung book.
Yeah, and every issue is like his world is crumbling a little bit more. I mean, like we're leading up to him losing Parker Industries here soon. Another great thing about this is it has a supporting cast of heroes. I've already mentioned that Ant-Man is in this. For a brief moment in Mason's lab, we see that...
was that Falcon?
Yeah, it was Captain America. Sam Cap leaving, and he just got his wings recalibrated because if you pull him to the left, shit, he bails out. He was only there for a second. And then at the very end of the book...
It's Captain Falcon.
It's Captain Falcon. Yes! Yes, it is! Oh, how have we never done that before? At the very end of the book, Peter's blowing off, and a big theme is like Peter, like he's like, "I always remember dates. Don't worry." Blah 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 blah. But by the end of the book, he's tracking down this like hacked Stark phone, which are supposed to be impenetrable. You're not supposed to be able to hack these, no matter who you are. But he's found one, and he's tracked one other phone to I can't remember exactly where, but he goes to this place and end up blowing off Johnny Storm.
Oh.
And who answers the door but Ironheart? Riri Williams. And that's where this issue leads off. Oh, wait a minute. No, there's a huge reveal at the end of this. I'm not even going to say what it is. You really got to pick this book up. It's only 2 issues in. Gigantic, like, what the fuck reveal at the very end of this book. Yeah, pick this book up. It's everything we've wanted Spider-Man to be for a while, but understandably we haven't gotten because, again, it's that hyper drama. They're dealing with the big issues here. I mean, shit, they had the fucking clone conspiracy story where almost everyone, like, evaporated.
Everyone's back.
Yeah.
Now they're disintegrating.
Yeah, almost everyone on the planet was disintegrating because of this like sinister plot by Ben Reilly. So sorry if I spoiled that for anyone, but it's been months. Yeah. So yeah, we're on the Secret Empire now. Okay,
clone conspiracy is no longer a thing.
Nobody
Secret
even
Empire's
fucking cares. You guys
Get
remember
with the new thing?
You guys remember when? Anyways. Yeah, great book. I can't wait to read the second issue. I have it sitting in the other room. Haven't gotten to it yet. But I was leery. Didn't really understand where this book was coming from. And now that I do, it's great. Can't suggest it more. The next book that I'm talking about here is The Flash number 25. And I know this is an issue behind, but I specifically wanted to talk about this one on the last episode. And for whatever reason, we had to move things around because we had to readjust the show at the last minute. In this issue, there's a big rebirth change. The Reverse Flash has gotten brand new origins in this. Now, I wouldn't say brand spanking new, but like pretty new. Now, first, I should say there have been quite a few Reverse Flashes. And most recently, Daniel West was one of them, who's the brother of Iris West. Yeah. And uncle/father of
Uncle Daddy.
Wally West. Yeah, that takes a lot of explaining. I don't have time for that. Anyways, yeah, there have been quite a few, but the most established is Professor Zoom, Eobard Thawne. Like, that's the one like everyone defers to as the Reverse Flash. And real quick, because I know this is not as well known of a character and as well known of an origin as it probably should be, I did want to go into the original origins, the second original origins, the more established origins of Eobard Thawne. Eobard Thawne was a super fan in the 25th century that actually recreated the experiment that gave Barry his powers and was just determined to be better than the Flash. For whatever, he just wanted to be a good guy, but the best good guy. Then he decided to go back in time using a faulty cosmic treadmill that he got from the Flash Museum they have in the 25th century, but it was messed up and it sent him to after the Flash had died during Crisis on Infinite Earths. While he was there, it became apparent that the faultiness of the cosmic treadmill had actually fucked with his brain because, it was all out of whack. And he also found out that he was destined to become the Reverse Flash, a Flash villain, and actually die at the hands of the Flash. Jesus. So this, all this together drove him nuts. And after a lot of really confusing time travel stuff, he discovers that he needs Barry to exist himself. And instead of killing Barry, decides to dedicate his life to being the cause of everything bad in Barry's life. All the way up to killing his mother, which is what sparks the Flashpoint story that you'll soon become familiar with.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And those are that's the really condensed origins of Eobard Thawne. There's a kind of a secondary part that involves him finding the costume, which they did put in these new origins, but more or less that was Eobard Thawne. Now, here are the new origins from this book. Again, somewhat condensed, but Barry and Thawne actually met when Barry, I guess, randomly visited the 25th century. It doesn't really explain why Barry went there.
Was it a mistake?
No, it doesn't say at all.
He hasn't.
But due to the visuals, it looks like he's there on purpose.
He doesn't say it out loud, but
sweet.
He knows it.
25th century, it's the shit. Anyways,
look at that goofy ass grin,
right? While he's there, he meets Superfan Thawne.
Superfan Thawne.
This is what I'm gonna call him. His early days. who's harnessed the Speed Force energy from one of Barry's old suits that he got from a time capsule. And he uses this to become the Flash of the future. Due to an extremely low crime rate, though, Thawne actually puts most of these people in danger and creates these havocs himself just so he can go in and save the day. But Barry finds out, and he stops him, and they put him away. And at the end of this fight, he swears that he'll become a better person. Eobard Thawne says he's going to become a better person. And the next time Barry sees him, apparently he's worse because he's the Reverse Flash. He comes back again and again and again, just ruining Barry's life in a bunch of ways that we're all familiar with. No time to go into all that. But it turns out Eobard Thawne actually did better himself in between the time that the Flash was there in the 25th century and the time that Barry meets Reverse Flash. He even became a teacher, but he kept feeling empty inside. He knew he needed the Flash to see that he had changed his life for it to matter at all. So he decides to go to the 21st century, but first he felt he needed to change his costume. Both because he knew he wasn't ready to be the Flash, and also because all of Flash's sidekicks wore yellow. So he felt, maybe I should don yellow, because I'm not the Flash. So he goes to the 21st century, but he sees Barry having a special moment with Wally West, which is similar to a special moment that he and Barry had before their falling out in the 21st century, back when Barry had first come there. 25th, yeah. This apparently made him feel like he and that moment weren't important. The Flash is a liar. The Flash is a bastard. I hate the Flash now. Yeah, like that look on your face.
He gave him a hug. He's my enemy,
right? And that's it. That's the fucking origins as far as I got it. Yeah.
That is bullshit.
Now, I will say this, like Barry kind of coming to the 25th century and them doing a little team up and stuff, that's kind of cool. Yeah. Like, they kept elements like Thawne finding the suit and using it to gain Barry's powers. They gave a really good explanation to why he's wearing yellow and shit.
It's all leading up to it.
Yeah, it's all leading up to it. It's like, oh man, this is really cool. This is going to be a good payoff, blah, blah, blah. And then, nope. They don't even tell us that he went crazy or that there was something wrong with the fucking cosmic treadmill. Because he does take the cosmic... This is before he creates the negative speed force, which is what allows Reverse Flash to travel through time at will. But yeah, so they kept so much the same and tweaked things where it could be better. And then they're like, nope, he's just really petty. He's just extremely stupid and petty.
Wow.
He was a kind of a half genius, and he was a professor and all this stuff. But no, he's a fucking idiot because he can't see that more than one person can be special to someone. Yeah, it's such a... There it is. Caught him on the cosmic treadmill. I found it. And it's such a shitty fucking end to this whole thing. And I mean, it ends on this really, really cool thing too. But it's like, it's bittersweet because... This is the book where Barry Allen's secret identity is revealed to Iris West because Iris West is Reverse Flash's prisoner in the 21st century or 25th century. But yeah, it's bittersweet because like you're still reeling from how fucking stupid the new origins are. And this is the first thing to come out of Rebirth that I'm like, no, I would have rather that stayed the same. Now he does reference things from the universe before because Reverse Flash kind of exists outside of time.
Yeah. And
so he does make these mentions of all this other shit, but it's confusing as it always is with Reverse Flash, but the things that are not confusing are disappointing. So, yeah, the next issue is pretty good. I've already read it. It picks up from there, but it's just a bad taste in my mouth. First Rebirth thing. All right, Odle, why don't you go ahead and... move us along with your books.
Well, I'm actually caught up on a couple of the titles that I read. One that I'm just going to kind of mention into because I'm going to try and push it on Travis here soon is Deadly Class. If you've never read Deadly Class, it's a high school for assassins. You have freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
And that is an oversimplification.
Yeah, like there's so much shit that happens in the first Like, shit, what issue is this? In the first 28 issues, like, the first 5 trades of this are out.
Yeah.
If you're not caught up on this, fucking do it. Like, it's written by Rick Remender. It's got Wes Craig as the artist. Great art for the story. A lot of shit has happened. Some of the main characters are gone, maybe dead, maybe not. There's a beach. Some people are paranoid, talking to themselves, talking to their dead friends. People have, like, completely changed their personalities and personas. One girl went from, like, sweet and innocent to goth and nasty and, like, at the drop of a hat.
Nasty.
This book, like, it hits home on certain levels with, like, you know, we can kind of relate to how some of these things went when we were in high school. It's like, I can kind of remember feeling like that at times. Not necessarily, you know, the principal was going to kill me, but, you know, sometimes it felt like it.
They add some relatable themes to the characters.
Yeah, there's some really relatable themes, like, throughout the first, I'd say, at least 20 issues. And, like, the things that are going on right now, like, you've got the Yakuza up in things. There's, like...
Oh, shit, wait a minute. The Yakuza now?
The Yakuza.
There's Saya's family.
Because I've only...
all up in shit.
Okay.
I still haven't brought you my single issues because you're waiting to get caught up on those.
Well, I'm waiting to read my own trades that I've spent money on.
But, like, there's so much going on, and it just keeps getting better. The fat kid that everyone overlooked is now in one of the highest seats of power in this school.
Yeah.
Because he took advantage of a situation. That's all he did. He didn't do shit. Didn't kill anyone when he was supposed to. Took credit for the kills. Because all of these people that he was in control of did it. Like, there's a German fucking metalhead who beats the hell out of people with whatever he can find. I like him, by the way. There's a Russian jock. He's your typical jock, but he's also, like, built like 80s Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, he's huge.
This is one of those books, like, you have to read from the start. You cannot just jump in.
No.
Like, you have to know everything that's happened or nothing's going to make sense. And that's the way it is with a lot of Remender stuff. Like, it's fantastic storytelling. The art for his books is always great. Like, Low, the art fits that story perfectly.
Yeah.
Deadly Class, the art fits it perfectly. Tokyo Ghost was fan-fucking-tastic, and I'm still waiting to be able to pick up the deluxe hardcover for that to push onto all of you guys.
It sounds really good.
Like,
you're gonna like it. Yeah, we'll get you on that soon. Too.
Oh yeah, Remender is my favorite
soon.
writer. Like, he is hands down my favorite comic book writer. And he writes a lot of independent stuff, but he's done a lot for Marvel. He did, I think, Uncanny Avengers. He did Uncanny X-Force, which is a really popular story. I don't think he's done anything for DC, though.
Really?
He did a pretty heavy Punisher run.
Yeah. I'm familiar with his Punisher run.
And he also did the Captain America run where Cap went to, like, Dimension X. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Oh, the
Universe
story.
X and all that stuff?
No, not Universe X. Like, this is a
Earth X?
Cap... No. This is a Cap-specific story. I have all the trades.
Wait a minute. Oh, shit. Oh, so it's in trades.
Dimension
I was like, okay.
X.
I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Is it the Ninja Turtles?
No. Like, Remender's really good at writing, like, the abnormal, strange, like, futuristic.
I think Nickelodeon should sue.
I think FX should hire Remender to do all these shows. Which, speaking of, while I'm on Deadly Class, it's going to be a TV show soon.
Okay.
Who's on that coming? Everything's a TV show.
Seriously, if it's not on, like, I don't care if it's not on FXX or if it's not on, like, Showtime or HBO or something. Like, yeah, it's got to be on.
It doesn't have to be on one of those networks that has, like, gratuitous nudity, like HBO or something like that. Although, if it went HBO, no, there's like no holds.
No. This show needs to go full on with it. Drugs, and sex. Like, these are driving forces.
Oh, yeah.
Like, drugs and
AMC,
sex
bro.
and fucking violence and all that shit. It's got it. Maybe AMC could handle
This
it.
is-
I don't
this
think they
is
have
one
any
of-
superhero shows, do they?
They only have one comic show that I know of, and that's
Like,
The Walking Dead.
Deadly Class is the one Remender book that has the least amount of sex in it.
And by the way, this
isn't
is-
Preacher on AMC too?
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And this is not a superhero story.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I meant comic.
This
books.
is like the main character was a homeless kid who got
Yeah.
recruited into being in a school for assassins.
But it does have superheroes in it because he worked at a comic book store for a while.
Yeah, which was really cool if you look in the background.
You're bound to have some
But,
people with some powers.
Speaking of superheroes, the next one I'm talking about, which I'll be a little bit more in depth with, but not much more, is Invincible. Now, this is up to 138 issues. This is one of Robert Kirkman's babies, which we'll kind of touch on Kirkman a little bit more later.
Yeah.
But
We got some Kirkman news, y'all.
But this is one of his babies that he's bringing to an end. This final story arc is 12 issues long. So over the course of a year, he's bringing this to an end with the arc, The End of All Things. And he just put out part 6 of 12. I just caught up on the last couple issues last night. And oh my God. Like, there's so much going on. So much leading up. Like,
I really
so
gotta
many
read
characters dead.
I want to read this so bad. I really do.
There's a
And,
few of Kirkman's books that are really eye-catching.
like...
This one is so cool. Like, I read the first. What was that thing?
You read
you
the
had?
first issue.
I've seen the title.
of the
Was it
first
just
trade.
the first
yeah,
issue?
you only read the first issue.
Okay, I felt
I'll
like I
have
read
to get the first
three or
trade
something.
from Bob, which has the the first 4 in it.
Yeah, but I read that first issue and I was like, this is so fucking familiar, but so different.
Yeah,
It's really
like
cool.
it has all of the aspects of like this is what you want in a superhero comic, but there's also so much blood and gore in this comic that it satisfies that as well.
It's not just that. It's like
Makes it
here's
gritty.
the thing. Here's the things you know and love from comics, like just spanning Marvel and DC. But here's some things you didn't know they were missing, and then the blood and the gore and all that shit.
But then it also has like so many relatable themes. Like the main character, he's in a relationship. He has a kid. Like there's this giant war going on that he has to make sure that his kid's being taken care of.
Everything I've heard of like in recent issues is like from what I've read, I'm like, how the fuck did they get there? Like,
Yeah, like so much happens, and granted, a lot happens in 138 issues.
yeah, right, because that's 138 months.
Like there was a more if you
True.
count like trade breaks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, this has been going on for over 10 years now. Like 10 to 12
Wow.
years of writing on this comic, not counting
That's-
like him doing Walking Dead.
I was thinking that was pre-Walking Dead. Then maybe I don't know
No.
exactly how long.
No,
Walking
no,
Dead
no.
came out like a year or two before this
Oh.
one did.
I think Walking Dead's why he started getting all these other projects,
Yeah.
like Outcast and Invincible and stuff.
So the war that's taking place in this, it's between people of the same alien race, which Mark, the main character, is one of. And so basically you have like the good part of this race, and then you have the one guy who's the asshole who doesn't want things to change and fucks this other alien race to make a billion kids that grow at like
Idiocracy.
these
It's
kids
so
are
fucking crazy.
no, like this alien race, because their genes, like the way they mesh, it makes very close to his DNA, but they go from infant to like teenager in a year or less.
So
That reminds me
like-
of Gazorp off Rick and Morty.
to Camino. Star Wars season
They're bug people.
Hey man, Gazorp can go from 1 to 20 in one day, bro.
Right.
But like the one guy is the strongest
Okay.
of the Viltrumite race, which is what these alien people are called. He's the strongest. Like most other Viltrumites who are stupid strong break their hands on his face.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
shit.
just
So-
shows his
So some deaths have happened in the past couple issues. This book is full. It's one of those Game of Thrones. Don't get attached to too many people.
all right on.
Yeah.
But like the art, the story, like I don't want to see this book end, but I can't wait to see how it ends.
Yeah, it is. It's supposed to end soon, right?
Yeah, it
That's
has.
one of the ones he's
It's at
wrapping
part
up.
6 of 12.
And
we've
the
got-
12th is the
The
official.
12th
end,
is
yeah.
the final issue of this. It's bittersweet because it's such a great story. But after this arc, I really don't think that they would ever be able to continue it. And I think that's
Yeah.
what he's going for.
I mean, maybe eventually, like a one shot or like a
Yeah,
miniseries
I mean,
or
something.
like,
Well, there is talk.
like, it's been
who
enough
was it?
time. Let's do something. You know?
Not Seth Rogen, I think,
Really?
was talking about like he wants to do an Invincible either movie or show. I think.
Well,
he
he's
wants
the
to do a
one.
show.
He's the one
He's
who's
working
spearheading Preacher. Yeah.
I seen it was made by
Yeah.
the guys from Breaking Bad and
Yeah, him
Seth
and his
Rogen.
him and his writing partner, like I don't remember the other guy's name, but like they do work
Judd
together on a
Apatow.
bunch of stuff. Not
Yeah,
Judd
if
Apatow.
I'm like they're
Yeah.
wanting to
Can't
make a Invincible show,
Yeah.
like live action Invincible show,
I would watch,
but
it
they
for sure.
don't want to do it unless they can do it right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've done a good job with Preacher.
Yeah.
So
If you're not reading Invincible, you have 138 issues to catch up
You
on.
know,
You,
it's-
have 6
you-
months before it ends.
you're gonna have to spend hundreds of dollars to get caught up, or
No, like
less
the
than legal means.
The compendiums are about 30 something each, and there's 2
It's-
of those out, which
Oh,
will
really?
get you mostly caught up.
But who weirdo collectors like you fucking buy the compendiums? Like, because who practically sits down with that fucking honking book on their lap and reads that shit?
Okay, fine. Get the ultimate editions, which are hardcovers that have like
He's a
10 to
hard
12
motherfucker
issues
over
each
here.
in them.
Fine. I'll do that. Never.
It's funny that Seth Rogen's actually getting pretty serious and better at some of these shows and
Whoa.
ideas. When he was in Green Hornet and wrote a bunch of it and it sucked. You know,
Right.
I watch
get
it
where
and
you're going
I
with it,
laugh
yeah.
at it, but I know it's not
Yeah.
very good.
Well, Trav, it's time.
Oh.
Doctor, it's time for your diagnosis
Okay.
on the comics that you read.
Heads up, I am outside of the mainstream with a lot of titles, and I didn't write down the artist or who wrote the story like you did.
I'm
but-
thinking we might we might do like a sort of my update when we finally get you caught up on the whole rebirth thing and like just
Travis is
a
there.
group discussion.
T. Neal's reaction on everything.
Well, we haven't done a rebirth episode in like forever, like
Oh,
since the
yeah.
early days of the podcast. so-
25 issues in and just about everything, too. I mean, that's
Right.
a little over a year.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I went ahead and I chose the Lazarus Contract, and that spans over Deathstroke comic, Teen Titans, and I think another.
I think there's like a Teen Titans special that wasn't an annual, but it was.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the story as I remember it. It kind of jumps back and forth between like the current story and then goes back and like the next issue and tells you why this happened. Like,
Yeah, from
years
the-
ago.
And I told you this when you picked him up. It's kind of playing off of the Judas contract.
I did see
from back in the day.
In the last one I read, I did see the word Judas. Let's start with the Lazarus Contract for now.
Okay.
It starts off with Grant Wilson, the Ravager. He's gotten the powers from Hive to take on the Teen Titans. Well, the power ends up being too much for his heart, and Wally West tries to save him, and it doesn't work. He dies anyways. Slade walks up, and he carries his body off the battlefield and says, you'll see me again. And it picks up years later when Slade wakes up in a hospital bed. He's recovered from a previous Deathstroke comic. He gets the plan together in his head that he's going to fix everything that's happened because at the same time his daughter and his other son are in the hospital with him. We find out that the Titans are taking on Hive, the Hive members that they think are Hive. They take him down and start interrogating one of them, and then they realize that Wally West is gone. Wally West is evaporated, for all they know. Then in the next panel, we find out that Deathstroke has abducted him, hooked him up to a machine, and God knows where. But
Wally does tend to evaporate sometimes.
Yeah, he
so
just-
it wouldn't be out of the ordinary.
I mean, Rebirth started out because Wally West came back from the Speed Force, where everyone had forgotten he was.
and then he went back a few issues later.
I forgot you were even a thing, man.
You're right.
Well, we find out Deathstroke's got him hooked up to a machine, and he tells him, he's like, I want your help, help me save my son. No way. And so he lets him out of the machine. And he's like, okay, well, that's fine, because I have the other Wally West in the next room hooked up to a machine.
Shit.
And
this is the first time,
they've seen each other.
Yeah, this is the first time they've ever met.
Yeah, Kid Flash and Flash.
And Flash.
Yeah.
Other Flash.
Yeah. Well,
Flash 2.0.
right. He gives Kid Flash, Wally West, the same proposal. The original Flash tells him, don't do it, he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
And so he's like, he does decide to help him. He grabs Deathstroke's hand and he shows him things, that he couldn't do or whatever, or stuff about his story that he didn't know. And then they come back to wherever he was holding him in the machines. That's when Deathstroke tells both the Wally West that he didn't need him anyways. He's harnessed both of their powers into a Speed Force battery, and it's now in the suit that he's wearing, and he can travel through time without both of them.
Which is just the coolest looking suit. Have you read this yet? Oh, you haven't read Lazarus?
No, I haven't had a chance to.
Oh, man, that seemed like one of those things to take priority with you.
I know.
But this Deathstroke suit, it's next level.
It's pretty rad. It's like, it's got some lightning bolts going on.
Yeah. It's Deathstroke if you had Speed Force.
Well, at this point, it brings us to the third book in the Lazarus contract. I wouldn't say that a whole lot doesn't happen, but not a lot happens in the third book.
That was was that the Teen Titans or was that the Deathstroke issue? I'm pretty sure it's Deathstroke.
Agree to disagree.
Right? Whatever.
It's
You
Team
can look it
Deathstroke.
up.
I mean, they're literally sitting right in the other room, but I'm not getting up for them.
Yeah, no way. Well, you find out a year after Grant's death, the Ravager, it shows a year after Nightwing makes a deal with Slade. The deal is that Dick Grayson will help teach Slade's daughter his values instead of growing up to be like Slade, and he agrees. And if Dick Grayson doesn't follow through with his promise, then it's going to bring back the contract that...
The Judas contract.
Yeah. It's going to bring back the contract for him to kill the Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Which he took on after Grant died. Because that's what Grant was hired by Hive to do, was kill the Teen Titans.
Yeah, and Slade took it on out of bereavement of his son's death.
Yeah. Basically. That's basically what happened. Then a couple panels later, you find out the younger Wally's getting help from Jericho, Slade's other son. He goes and seeks him out, and he agrees to help him. And at the same time, the Teen Titans and the Titans are discussing all of it, and they decide to work together to figure out what Slade's doing, because nobody really knows how he's really doing all this stuff yet. And in the fourth book, we find out years later, Slade pushes Grant years ago. Not years later, my bad. We find out in the fourth book, because we jump back again to when Grant was younger. Slade pushes his son away by being an asshole. He's sleeping with his girlfriend all the time, doesn't care about his kids, whatever. But
Slade's a bad dude.
Yeah, right? And
he's a bad dude with a two.
So Grant gets super edgy and he runs away.
With a bad attitude.
Yeah. Grant gets real edgy and decides to run away, and he doesn't make it far. He's down the street just pondering, doing a little bit of flash dance or whatever. But
punch dancing.
Yeah, punch dancing. Not really, but that's basically what you get from it. Eventually, Slade shows up and he's like, "Oh yeah, if you think you're a big guy, just hit me in the face. Hit me in the face.
Yeah,
prove your man." And Grant misses, and at the same time, a car comes through and hits Grant, and he lands on the windshield, and he's like, "Where are you going, man?" He's like, "Wherever the party is what he says. And they drive off.
That's actually what happens.
Yeah, they drive off, and Slade's just like, all right. He's okay with that. Because, he's trying to test his son anyways.
Yeah.
And they take him back to wherever they're partying at. They're not really partying. They're just nerding out, really. And Grant asks him all kinds of stuff, and one guy's playing Nickelback in the corner. No joke.
Yeah.
And they eventually tell him that they work for Hive. And he's like, "Oh, what's that?" and everything. And eventually, a couple panels later, you see he's agreed to join Hive, and he becomes part of an experiment, which makes him the Ravager. And they give him the contract to go kill the Teen Titans. And it goes back to the current storyline. Slade is successful in going into the past with the Speed Force battery suit. I can't remember what they call the suit. I think he has a name for it.
It did have a name. I can't remember it either because I was just like, Deathstroke has Speed Force powers. That's all I know.
Yeah, he ends up successfully going to the past. He meets Grant before the Teen Titans fight with him, and his heart kills him. And Grant's like, "Oh my God, you're Deathstroke! I've heard all about you from the nerd group he was hanging out with." Because this whole time he's had no idea that Slade was Deathstroke. So he's like, "Son," and he takes off his mask and he's like, "Oh, you're my dad," and he totally hates Deathstroke now. Yeah. He's not psyched about it, and he doesn't listen to a word he says, so Slade's like, knocks him out, and he's like, "I just gotta go back and do it again." And he's gonna try to go back and convince him again not to fight the Teen Titans. At the same time, Flash takes the Titans to the past to catch up with Slade. Jericho transfers all their conscious into the Flash's mind. I guess that's the best way I translate it when I was reading it.
Yeah.
He transfers all their conscious into the Flash's mind, and they all go back. And when they get there, Damian Wayne, which I've grown to hate from this story. This is the first thing I've ever read about him. Seeing him on illustrations and stuff, I thought it was super cool, super edgy. And that's what I got. That's what, he ends up just walking up to the old Flash and punching him straight in the heart, which kills him for just a little bit. He stops his heart. Technically dead. And when he does that, for some reason breaks the stability that Slade has traveling to the past. It starts fading around him because where he kills past Flash to where he wouldn't have been able to harness the power. But since he already has it in the battery in the present that he's in, he decides to just haul ass and go into the Speed Force because he knows what the Titans are up to. Well, he goes to the Speed Force, and as we all know, I'm assuming you guys would know, he will be stuck there. Slade.
Yeah.
He'll be stuck there.
The Speed Force needs someone to
hold on to it.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, the past fades around the two groups of Titans that are working together. Kid Flash regains his power. He lost his power after Slade takes it for the suit.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly why he gets it back.
He needs some time to recharge.
That's what I was thinking. I couldn't really explain it. Kid Flash gets his power back. He gets his power back, and they're in the present. And he knows Slade's stuck in the Speed Force.
Just keep going. You don't have time for
And he's the only one vouching to go and save him. And the rest of the Titans are like, "No way, we stopped the bad guy. He deserves to be stuck in the Speed Force." So Kid Flash, he hauls ass, and he goes to the Speed Force. Well, Flash, he knows the Kid Flash is going to be stuck there too.
Yeah.
So he's the only one who goes, and he leaves the Teen Titans behind, and he saves Kid Flash and Slade from the Speed Force, because he's been out of it. When the Flash saves Slade and Kid Flash, they're all standing there with the Teen Titans and the Titans. Slade takes off his mask, and he says he's done. Yeah. After all that, he can't save his son. He's just going to deal with it. And gives up all the killing, all the contracts. Yeah. Damian and Kid Flash get in an argument. Damian didn't want him to go save Slade. And Kid Flash said, "That's wrong, and we all disagree with you." And Damian's like, "Oh, you're fired." And Kid Flash gets fired from the Teen Titans. Flash goes in, gets a checkup. Yeah. And he finds out that he now has a pacemaker from where Damian punched him in the past. And now he cannot extenuate, as much speed and power.
He can't put as much stress on his body.
Yeah. And he's like, the doctor tells him, "You're gonna have to find a new line of work," and he doesn't take that well. Yeah. So he speeds off, and that's the end of the Lazarus contract. So it's a very deep story. There was a lot of
your mom's deep story.
Hey.
Oh, hey now.
That works on two lessons today.
That's two of us now.
But yeah, that's the first recent book I would say that I've read, non-alternative, mainstream. Yeah. And I really enjoyed it. I'm into some time travel.
I'm gonna get you where you need to go. I got you reading Gwenpool now. We're gonna get you up to date on Rebirth. But yeah, all right. So Titans is going real good. And it just occurs to me now that I think I talked about Lazarus' contract on the podcast before it was over.
You did. No, you only talked about the first issue.
The first issue, that's what it was.
Well, there's a whole.
And I even made note that this is not where Damian shines. He'll grow on you. He's kind of a dick all the way around, but this is him at his worst.
I didn't have any notes for more of the occasions he was a dick throughout that story, but yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was
pretty dickish.
Complete asshole in that story. Like for a Damian that has now become like friends with a variety of people. He leads the Teen Titans. Like he's way more tolerable than his earlier days.
He was right in a lot of the stuff he did.
Yeah,
but he was such an asshole.
But yeah, like this was the worst he's been in a while. So yeah, I agree with you there. You know what that noise means? No, you don't, because it's the first time I've ever done it. It means Phone Booth News. Alright, I don't know what to label it, but whatever it's news, the Star Wars Galaxy Edge Disneyland themed land has been revealed. And opening in 2009 with 2 main attractions. It's going to have an attraction where you can actually take control of the Millennium Falcon, and at any moment you can find yourself in the middle of a First Order Resistance battle.
Oh.
Like, yeah, this coupled with tons of shops and cantinas and aliens running around and droids. There was a little BB-8 on the model, so look out for that. I don't know, maybe.
Maybe it's one of those little like Sphero droids.
Right, just
and
real
if you catch
tiny.
it, you get to keep it.
Oh, I would. For sure.
I'd chase that fucker down.
Right?
Addy, stay here. I'll be right back.
Just abandon the kids and the wife. I gotta find BB-8. In video game news, Starfire gameplay footage from Injustice 2 has released, and honestly, the Starfire thing isn't the coolest thing from the video. I think the coolest thing is the Superman skin. It's full on Bizarro. Like, I mean, skin, look, everything. It was, like, so cool. And I've not seen any costume pieces that remotely look like this. So I don't know if it's going to be a releasable skin in the future. I want to know more about that. Fuck Starfire. Like,
I was going to say, like...
Her moves are cool. She's going to be fun to play with. Well, Bizarro.
We've talked. Like, characters have empty slots. They need more costumes. Right? This could be it.
The shiny Tapu Koko, a totem Pokemon from Sun and Moon, is available for download in Mystery Gift. All you gotta do, go to your main menu, click Mystery Gift, go to Internet Download, and get that sumbitch, because he's gonna be powerful. If nothing else, you got a shiny, rare Pokemon. He's not a legendary, but it's cool. In comic book news, IDW announces a Goosebumps comic expected in October with no official release date yet. The first arc is written by Jeremy Lambert with artist Chris Fenoglio? Fenoglio? It'll be titled Monsters at Midnight, and it takes place in Horrorland. On top of this, Green Lantern and Colonel Sanders have their third team-up called Across the Universe. Well, not their
KFC?
I'm talking about KFC zingers.
That was my first thought. It's the Green Lantern and Colonel Sanders from KFC are going on an adventure.
They are teaming up for Colonel Sanders' third comic book adventure called Across the Universe, where Colonel Sanders basically recruits Hal Jordan to tell the universe, or rather Hal Jordan's sector, about KFC zingers. And that's his entire mission.
And the herbs and spices.
Right. The Colonel's been on 2 other adventures, the Colonel Two Worlds and Colonel Core. All 3 of these, though, are available on Comixology.com. Stan Lee gets his Hall of Fame star finally.
About fucking time. He's only like, what, 90-some years old?
Well, it's arguable that, it's like, he does comic books. Does he deserve a Walk of Fame? But he also has a spanning career across TV and movies as well. So, about time he got that. Speaking of TV, in TV news, the 13th Doctor was revealed as a woman, actress Jodie Whittaker, who has been in a bunch of stuff. I noted some stuff here, but it's a ton of stuff I've never seen.
I follow Doctor Who. It'll be really different pace than going from a guy who hits on most of them, except Peter Capaldi. He was older and more respectful to his women. So now we're gonna have a woman doctor.
Well,
Hitting on all the bitches.
it's gotten so much hate.
The
but,
doctor's bi.
they have stated in the past that the doctor can be either a man or a woman. I guess the real question here is the companion going to be a man or a woman? But who cares? It's about time. I'm surprised they didn't do it sooner. Yeah. Moving on from that, the Tick trailer released. It looks really fun, really funny, reminiscent of the old show and the old comics and stuff. The pilot has actually been up for a while on Amazon Prime. This trailer makes me want to watch it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it makes me want to watch it so bad. So I'm definitely going to have to see that. Walking Dead Season 8 trailer, it has released from San Diego Comic-Con, and you'll want to put your shitting pants on because you're going to shit your pants. This is full-on all-out war, for sure. Just all over this trailer, all-out war. And at the very end, we have a short-haired, long-bearded, gray Rick with a cane off in the distance. So we may be looking into, some new stuff. If you've been reading the comics, you know where that's going. But neither of these fucking two have, so I'm the only one. Moving on from that, the new Defenders trailer is out, and the boardroom scenes are going to get way more interesting, let me tell you that. This trailer looks awesome, next level fun, and I cannot wait to see them interacting with each other. There's a moment where they're sitting, I don't know if they're at a restaurant table or what, but they're sitting around the table, and there's some banter going back and forth, and you gotta see it for sure. In movie news, Star Trek Discovery. This was right before we started filming. Star Trek Discovery's trailer also came out. And that looks really good. From what I remember of some of the news that's been coming out over the past year, it's supposed to take place way, way, way before the Kirk days.
Hashtag pre-Kirk.
Hashtag pre-Kirk. Hashtag pre-Kirk. Come on down and get some free tickets if you're the one we pick.
We don't have any giveaways.
I ain't got shit right now. Our last giveaway was a fucking.
We still have it.
I have the print sitting right there.
That's true.
It's sitting right there. And Odle lost the episode that he was at, that our contest winner was on. So, anyways, moving on in movie news, Legendary Pictures has released a video that could possibly tease Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah for future Godzilla movies. Maybe the next Godzilla
with the
movie.
current
Godzilla. Yes.
Yeah, with the new MonsterVerse they're going for here.
King Ghidorah?
Weren't we supposed to get King Kong versus,
Well, okay,
Godzilla
no. See, this was the schedule: Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, Godzilla 2, and then King Kong versus Godzilla.
Okay.
Yeah, that is our schedule. So all three of these could be in the next Godzilla movie.
True.
Or they could just be saying, look, we got a lot of these planned. We're going Japan all over this bitch. Toho Pictures all the way. So,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. I can't wait. King Ghidorah, man, that's his number one. So, anyways, also a Wrinkle in Time trailer came out. I wrote a bunch of stuff down because this does require a little bit of an explanation. So I'm sorry if phone booth news is not as quick this time. Based on the 1962 fantasy novel that follows 14-year-old Meg, her younger brother, and her classmate as they travel through space and time in search of her missing astrophysicist father, played by Chris Pine, who went missing while working on a secret government project involving moving between planets by means of a fifth dimension. If that doesn't get your sci-fi nerd boner going, I don't know what will. Yeah. This also stars Reese Witherspoon, Zach Galifianakis, and Oprah Winfrey. And it's been a play, an opera, a 2004 Disney TV movie, and most recently a graphic novel.
Wait, what is this again?
This is called A Wrinkle in Time.
Oh, I keep putting off the trailer for this.
Check it out. It's cool. I'm excited to see it, and I've never heard of it before. All this information I found out today. I wrote it down today. So, yeah, it looks really cool. Speaking of things that I have heard of but never experienced before, Ready Player One trailer came out based off of a sci-fi novel. And it has cameos from Iron Giant, Freddy Krueger, the Back to the Future DeLorean. We also discovered, just before we started recording, Deathstroke Harley Quinn is in there. I mean, it's a Warner Brothers movie. And yeah, we confirmed the Tron cycle. So.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going too fast through that, but I think I seen Lady Deadpool on that list.
Maybe.
We'll see.
I doubt it because that's Marvel and this is a Warner Brothers movie. But
maybe you were right.
Yeah,
maybe I read that list too fast.
Extremely doubt that one. But yeah. Anyways, it looks really cool. It looks really high action and fun. Speaking of fun, Will Smith has been announced as the genie for the live-action Aladdin movie, and it raises one big question for me: is he gonna rap the soundtrack? Are we finally gonna get Will Smith returning to the soundtrack game?
Wild West, Men in Black,
right? And like at least
you ain't never seen a genie like me.
He at least needs to rap that song and then like do a movie-spanning rap at the very end for the credits.
I heard he was returning
like
back to
Men in
music.
Black,
Yeah.
So who knows? I hope so. Very, very much so. Mark Ruffalo said Hulk movie will never happen. He did this in an interview with Variety, I think at D23 actually. Yeah. And he said it's mostly because they don't want to make money by playing nice with Marvel. So
yeah. Now Mark Ruffalo's known for being like brutally honest to the point of like throwing some people under the bus.
And he also said he only had he has 2-3 years most where he feels comfortable still playing this character before he feels he's too old. So it's just at this point where the MCU is and where he is at, it's just not going to happen. At least with him. The Wonder Woman creator's biopic trailer went up titled, I skipped down in my notes, Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman. This is not about Wonder Woman, by the way. I should state that. It is about the creator and his life and the sordid lives of the people he's around. A less than traditional relationship him and his wife find with this other woman. And it just so happens to be framed by Wonder Woman. And these women are his inspiration for the character, apparently. So it should be really interesting. High drama, high sex. It's going to be cool. I can't wait to see it. Batman Gotham by Gaslight was also announced as a new DC animated movie. That's going to be cool. We've been saying for a while we wanted something from Gotham by Gaslight.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah, you should definitely read that one. It's an Elseworld story that takes place in a different universe, so you don't have to worry about it clashing with anything else.
Old-timey, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 1800s?
Yeah.
17 or 1800s. Maybe more 1700s.
I think it's 18th century, so that'd be 1700s.
Yeah. And, but if you are worried about the DC animated universe, the DCAU, if you will, they also announced Death of Superman, Reign of the Superman, and Suicide Squad Hell to Pay are coming to that universe.
Reign of the Superman.
Reign of the Superman. Yeah,
that's a fairly recent story.
Now, personally, I like Superman Doomsday, the animated movie, but it's not part of this animated universe that they've been setting up for a few years. So I'm excited to see where they go with it. But yeah, they're going to do Death of Superman and then the sequel Reign of the Superman, which I assume will bring Superman back to life towards the end. Yeah, and then new Suicide Squad Hell to Pay movie. Now, it should be noted that the last animated Suicide Squad movie, Assault on Arkham, is not DC animated canon. It is not a part of that universe, at least as far as this article had to say. And that is the end of our phone booth news. Guys, you can read all those articles and more on the Sorta My Comics Facebook page. After this podcast, go over there, give that a like, and you'll get more and more updates as San Diego Comic-Con news continues to come out, and updates on when we post this podcast. Moving on from that to D23 news was the Star Wars The Last Jedi behind-the-scenes trailer. This is really cool. First of all, I was hoping they were going to put one of these out because they
just
did it
with the J.J. Abrams one.
Yeah, they did it for the not the Last Jedi, but they did it for the Force Awakens. And one of the things they keep saying in this is that they keep talking about how different it is, how unexpected it is. Even Mark
Hamill says,
the director's
I feel like I know anything and everything that they could throw at us, and they still surprise me.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks different. We're getting new planets. We're getting new creatures. The heavy focus on the fact that they're still doing CG meets practical effects.
Yeah, the practical effects are getting me, man. Oh, man. All the puppeteering is amazing.
Right?
I love it.
Yes, and
Jim Henson set the bar, and they're like, above that.
Right? They're going next level with it. They showed that little fox thing, the crystal fox thing.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got a practical effect one, but they've also shown where they're doing the CG rendering on it as well.
Great.
Yeah, it just looks so good.
Meshed well.
They also showed the scene where Rey is learning to fight off 3 attackers, where she's training with the lightsaber.
And it's going to look so much more
I want to know what that's about. Is it the Knights of Ren? Is that who she's fighting off? Like, is it like who are these 3 attackers? That's what I want to know.
Maybe they're just old friends of Luke's that don't have names.
Maybe the guys that Han screwed over and like, it's still coming back. Still coming back on him. And then they showed this little guy who's blown up, the little penguin guy. And I know there's a name for it. I haven't learned this name for this alien race yet. But apparently this is the race that lives on the planet that Luke has been on this whole time. I guess he's been living among them. That's what I've been able to find out. Maybe it's just a rumor, I'm not sure. But like, so far it sounds pretty solid. But yeah, these
a lot of
little
cool alien races.
Cute penguin guys, yeah. And you noted about the frogs.
Yeah, they're like frog-like. I have no idea how to pertain to the scene, but they're like wearing tuxedos, it seems like, and they're like nodding at each other or something.
Froggy Wintercourt and he did, right?
Little
guys.
That would be probably my favorite.
Right? And then we get this nice little sign-off for the trailer from Leia. It's about family, and that's what makes it so important. And then she gives a little nod thing.
You see her and her significant other in the throughout the video, and it's just like, makes me really sad.
Yeah.
Actually seeing that.
Yeah.
But they were so cute.
Did you guys have any theories or anything from this trailer? Like anything you saw in there that makes you go like, what is that? Or
I don't fucking know what they're gonna do.
Right?
I just want to fucking see it.
It's unexpected.
Like with that being said so many times, like especially Mark Hamill saying, with him being such a the longest standing Star Wars veteran actor, him saying and they're
actually
still surprising me.
He's not.
One of.
Anthony Daniels.
We'll say one of.
Anthony Daniels has been in every live action Star Wars movie except for the Ewoks movies, but those don't count.
One of the most critical.
Sure. I guess.
But to know that he's being thrown for some loops, I can't wait to see it.
He had that early interview before everything really got started where he said he told Rian Johnson he fundamentally disagrees with everything he's done with Luke in that movie. Yeah. An early he misspoke oops type interview, but that was one of the things he said early on. Okay, so coming out of this, we have some pretty big news, but there was a revised statement to it since the last time I talked to you guys about it. Robert Kirkman has said that he's ending the Walking Dead comic book. Mm-hmm. And this is big news because it's been going on for a while. We said earlier,
more than 10 years?
Yeah.
Walking Dead has been going on for probably,
that's
I'd
right,
say
that was
close to 13, 14 years.
The books were older when I even picked them up, maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
I'm wanting to say
I don't know,
2002, 2004. So somewhere around there is when it came about. But yeah, I mean, all good things have to come to an end.
Right. I definitely see it coming to an end with in the show. I haven't caught up with the comic books, but it sounds really interesting. I wonder how they're going to wrap that up.
Very interesting idea. But Robert Kirkman has said that he doesn't know how far out it is. It's not right around the corner or anything like that. So he's had the idea of how to end it for 2 to 3 years. Never even written it down so that to reduce spoilers 100%. He's got it right up in his brain, doesn't know when he's going to do it. But he has been gearing the comic book towards this. He's steering the ship there. He's just doing it very slowly.
Are we allowed to? He gave a bit of a spoiler away, so anybody could read it on there. I don't know if you know about it. About one of the main characters.
Sure. Go for it.
He says Rick's not going to make it to the end.
Oh
And
yeah,
that's no.
They said that.
Okay.
If
I think
anything,
that can be assumed by almost anyone.
I feel like
When I was reading the books,
Rick's
he gets his
death-
hand cut off, all kinds of stuff he goes through, and I don't see him dying around every corner.
I feel like Rick's death will be the last issue, if not like 2 or 3 issues before it. Like,
Well, I also read on it. It said the story will go on a little farther after Rick's death.
yeah, like there'll be the issue where he dies. Maybe the next issue will end the arc or whatever,
Right.
and then they'll do like an issue or 2 like years later.
Right.
Like, with
Yeah.
type like this is Carl's, like
Carl
where it goes.
Land.
And then of course they'll probably revisit it in one shot, some miniseries and shit
Definitely.
on down the road. But yeah,
Here's my thing, like, it's starting to feel like Kirkman's wanting to get away from comics.
well, I don't know if it's that he's wanting to get away from comics, or maybe that he's got something new that he wants to do. He just doesn't have the time to work on it
Close
because
some loops.
even after he's done with The Walking Dead, more than likely he'll still be going on the show. So he'll
Yeah.
still have the show. He's ending Invincible, so that'll free up 2 slots. But he's also not the kind of guy who just like end these to end them so he can do something else. He's gonna do it right.
Maybe he just wants
He's
to
gonna
break,
do it
man.
his way.
Maybe he
but
just wants to take a
maybe he wants a break. Maybe yeah.
I mean, he's ending, like, we already knew he was ending Invincible. Now he's talking about ending his big one.
His
Now is
Maybe.
Outcast still going?
It is, but see, here's the thing about Outcast. Outcast was originally brought to him as a TV show idea, so the comic is being made for the show. It's not the show being made for the comic.
Okay.
So that's why, like, there's no official.
I didn't know what the chicken or the egg situation was
Yeah,
there.
so like that's a little, like, I feel like that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But like his 2 babies, he said like we're ending this shit. Like, you know, he doesn't have a set like end for The Walking Dead, like when it's gonna happen. But when he announces something like this, it can't be more than a year or 2 off.
And as someone who's read, like, I'm up to the most recent issue and stuff. I've read from the beginning to now. It's got to be coming soon. It is starting to get a little stale, like to the point where there's like 2 or 3 issues in between the next thing you actually care about.
Yeah.
And that's not a place I really want to be with a book. I've got so much time invested in this that I'm probably going to play it to the end. But still, yeah, like, unless they're about to do something huge and awesome and issue to issue, you got to come back. It's almost time. It's about that time. Plus, the dude is so fucking broke. He's missing a hand. He's got a bum leg. Like, he's old now.
Rick.
Yeah.
Rick.
Yeah, Rick, yeah. Our main character. Yeah, like, and Carl's starting to become his own man. Like, these past few months have been, like, Carl going out and doing his own thing, and, like, Rick's finally okay with it. He's like, you know, you go do this.
And
You
that's
got
the
to.
thing that I've heard all along is The Walking Dead. It's not like Rick's story. It's Carl's story.
Honestly, I think that came out because everyone was speculating on where
good
the
idea.
comic series would go. Like, they expected Rick to die very soon, and then it would become a Carl comic book where he was the main character. Then that didn't happen, and then that didn't happen. I don't think any of that's going to happen. And it most definitely has not been Carl's story.
We get both of these people to attach themselves
Yeah.
to like their friends that they meet along the way, and then we'll take all of them away,
Yeah.
and we'll start killing Rick and Carl little by little near
Yeah.
the end.
It's a thing I don't think was ever really planned. I think it was just fan conjecture getting
Probably.
passed around. Another thing that Robert Kirkman said is that there is no Walking Dead without George A. Romero. And unfortunately, we lost him. He died recently after a brief but extreme battle with lung cancer. What day was that? Was that Friday? It was
I think
very
so.
recent. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Thursday or Friday that I saw it.
But I thought it would be a good idea for us to reminisce on his movies. We like when we announce these celebrity deaths, we really don't have to, like, we went on about Carrie Fisher. We had a little thing about Adam West, but there have been a few that we've just glanced over. I felt like this was going to fall into that trap. I felt like it was too important. So why don't we reminisce on some of the movies? Some of the movies that we've experienced. I know that you've watched quite a few of them. Like, you've had to have seen Land of the Dead, the one where they start becoming sentient, and like one of them starts figuring out like we gotta go through the water to get to this thing. You haven't seen that? Oh, it's so good. Have you seen that?
I have seen Land of the Dead.
Oh, it's so good. The original
Dawn is the one where they're in the mall, right?
Yeah.
And
Tom Savini actually plays a character in the movie.
Yeah. Like, that is one of my, like, favorite zombie movies.
Have you ever seen that one? The original?
Like, when they're trapped in the mall, bitch is pregnant and has a zombie baby.
I'm a huge fan of Tom Savini.
No, wait. I think you're talking about the remake. Because there's no zombie baby in the original.
Yeah. I assume the old one's not.
Have you?
I'm talking about the remake.
Oh my god, you haven't seen the original Dawn of the Dead either?
I don't think so then.
There's this, okay, like if this doesn't jog your memory, like nothing will. Well, first of all, I'll say this part, because two popped up in my head. There's this part where Tom Savini, who is a biker dude, is kind of an asshole like throughout the whole film, but there's this part where he ends up getting caught up by the zombies, telling everyone to go, and he's getting torn apart by these zombies, and like it's extremely graphic. It's like the most graphic death in the whole fucking thing. It's Tom Savini. Of course he's gonna make his own death the hugest
makeup artist and everything, you know.
So, like, they're ripping out his guts, and he's screaming, choke on him, like, blood's coming out of his mouth. It's like, choke on him, and they start, like, grabbing him, and he's screaming, and it gets really high-pitched, like, his voice gets, like, that high-pitched. It's so unsettling.
Ooh.
Yeah, if you don't remember that, you haven't seen it.
I don't remember that.
For sure. Yeah, you gotta watch that. Like, these were such great movies. Like the George A. Romero specific things were awesome. The remakes are good too. Like I've seen the remake of Night of the Living Dead.
I feel like that's the one we watched. Night of the Living Dead. It's in black and white, right?
No, Night of the Living Dead is the original.
Yeah, we watched
the black and white is the original, and that was his first one. Like this was like not the first time we ever saw zombies, but this one solidified what the zombies were. This is like anything you know about zombies you could trace back to this movie. Then obviously we've seen the remakes, but I've seen for real.
How many they got?
For fucking real. Fuck.
It was a good firework.
So 4th of July was like 3 weeks ago. For fucking real, do we have to be that trashy in this neighborhood? Fuck, man. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, come back in here.
They just had 5 they really needed to let off.
Like now is, I'm telling you, the most bumpin' fucking Saturday of all of our
We should have just went to my place at this point. Shit.
Jesus. Alright, well, there's a discussion to be had like after this, but anyways, oh my, I have followed these movies for like a while. I can't say I've seen all of them.
There's a lot of them.
And honestly, I think maybe the last 2 I haven't seen, but I'd really have to look into it. I've seen all the way up to Diary of the Dead. You've seen Diary of the Dead,
yeah,
right? You're the one who told me about that.
I haven't, and the entire cover of the movie looks super badass. Guy's got a crossbone like thing going on his bulletproof vest. You never see him in the movie. That's not in it. All the shots on the back of the movie are not in it.
Maybe you got like a bootleg case or something.
Oh, it's Diary of the Dead.
I don't know. Like, no, the movie. Yeah, the movie you told me about is the movie I saw for sure.
So
you've seen it. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
shit.
What actually happens in the movie is about this little film crew, and they go to investigate some strange things that have been happening. Or no, they go and investigate something else. And at the same time, while they're doing that, there's a zombie outbreak all over the world, and then eventually it gets to where they're at.
Yeah.
And like people start getting picked off, and then in the end, it ends up being like the people you have to be afraid of, not the zombies.
Yeah. And that's another interesting thing about his movies is each time it's not a George A. Romero universe. Each one of these movies don't take place together. I think maybe Land of the Dead plays off of one of them, but if it does, I don't think it ever references it, because Land of the Dead starts out, the apocalypse has been there. Like, it doesn't start out at the beginning. Like, it's been a thing. and there are pocket communities, and then there are the wealthy who live in this gigantic tower. That it focuses on these two guys. One of these guys is like, he's a lower level guy, he's from the community, and then his like best friend, he works for the people in the thing, but he's like in between worlds kind of thing. He's also kind of an asshole. Anyways, and then another driving force is that the zombies are starting to learn in this movie. Like, there's this one zombie specifically that starts picking things back up again, and they don't necessarily learn to talk to each other, but he figures out how to direct them and communicate to them like what they should be doing. So much so that the zombies apparently have always avoided the water, and that was one of the things that these communities were playing on, was their water is one of their defenses, and he figures out that they can just go in the water.
I feel like I may have seen a little bit of this, and they all walk under the water.
Yeah, they're all walking under the water, and then they get to the fucking community.
Hey guys, we could just go in the water.
We could just take those windows. They're right over there. That's an inside joke for you. Anyways, yeah, these movies are really cool. Diary of the Dead was an interesting thing, obviously playing off of the found footage guerrilla style.
I liked it
genre.
after like 3 times of seeing it. I was super disappointed because of the cover the first time.
It was interesting. I can remember some things from it. I wouldn't say it's the best, but it was an interesting take on the genre.
Definitely.
I don't know if this is the first found footage zombie movie, but it might be. But, anyways, great movies, influential movies. He started something. Like, he made zombies what they are and continued to capitalize on that all throughout the decades of his career.
It's good horror basis.
Yeah, just good horror elements, even. Yeah, like
fearing humans over the zombies is crazy.
If you think about the Night of the Living Dead, like, it starts like in a graveyard, and like you have all these different characters in all these different places, and slowly it closes into this house. And this house ends up getting more and more closed off because they discover they can't really go upstairs because there's like the dead people up there who shot themselves in the face. So no one wants to go upstairs, and so now they've subjected themselves to the downstairs, and before you know it, they've started locking themselves in the basement and stuff. Yeah. So it becomes a more and more claustrophobic movie as it goes on, and that's pretty good. That's a great horror element in itself because it harkens on our fear. Like, what do you do when you're backed into a corner? He definitely was, like, not all of his movies were the greatest, but every one of them had something to give.
He's a founding father,
right? And he will be missed. He was definitely at the age though. Like, I mean, this could have been like natural causes at home with his family, and it would have still felt like the time. I can't remember the exact age he died at, but maybe like I want to say 70. I should have made a note. 70-something, 77. I want to say. Definitely will be missed. Rest in peace, George A. Romero. Or better yet, zombie apocalypse might actually happen.
Right. We'll see him again.
We might see him again someday. But to wrap it up, guys, there is a new episode of Serious Shit up. I believe it's episode 5 is up now. It's called It's So Innocent. You can find it on our SoundCloud and iTunes. And continuing on with our Sorta My brand rebirth, if you will. On the YouTubes, as the kids are calling it, there are 3 episodes of SMP up on YouTube now, up to episode 6. And that's just going to keep going. Look for those in the next couple days. Like Sorta My brand and Sorta My comics on Facebook. It really helps us out. Sorta My podcast is on Instagram and Twitter, although you'll never see anything posted from Twitter. Nope. Unless we upload to YouTube, because it automatically posts to the Twitter, I found out. You gotta be listening to this somewhere, whether it's SoundCloud or iTunes. While you're here, go ahead and like us, follow us, comment. Commenting lets us know what you think about what we're doing, what you think about what we're saying, and get involved. Get involved with the conversation.
Yeah. Let me know how shitty my first comic book reading was.
You know what, though? Your first comic book reading, honestly, like, in my honest opinion, was just as good as like maybe 6 or 7 episodes in for us, and we had two episodes before our first episode that we recorded beta to test the waters. So you'll get there, man. You'll get used to it. You'll get more like you'll condense it down for sure. You'll get where we are absolutely, and I'm gonna help coach you through this because now I got some experience behind me. I got some ways about me. Anyways, always comment. Like, we love that shit. Honestly, like, comment just because we love it. Because that's why we do this podcast. We're not getting paid. We don't have sponsors yet. You haven't heard us mention them 6 or 7 times. Although the KFC thing kind of sounded like a little bit of a sponsorship, but I assure you...
This zinger really is good.
They are, I assure you, they are not paying us as much as I really, really hope they are.
But you guys could.
You guys could! We're not going to talk about that this time because we have not fleshed out what that is yet. Like, there's talks.
Guys, I have a PayPal. Just send me money and...
Here's my address. No, fuck you. Anyways, guys, my name is Vincent Herman, Vin the Human.
James Odle, Alpha Spectre.
Travis Herman, Dr. T. Neal.
Thank you very much for watching. Why don't we go ahead and roll that hit, the badass outro music. Got Batman, Gotham guy. Fuck.